been incredible helping the troops, helping the LGBT, helping women. So the idea that she made a mistake with a joke is crazy, that she would lose a job over it. And the idea that CNN would fire her seems totally nuts, and that Donald Trump is president. I mean, the whole idea, it's like, she says, she does a joke that works, he ruins the country. I don't know, is that like this? You know, it's insanity to me.
Now, I have to say, and we all have different tastes in the world.
Yes.
I have to say, I do think she hurts people's feelings. I think she, on purpose, is brutal and mean.
But that
and
isn't
ruthless.
the issue. But that's
no,
not
but
the
that
issue.
is the issue.
No, it isn't. I'll tell you why.
But let me. Yeah. No, I want to hear your side too.
Yeah.
It is not a pearl clutch and a shock that Kathy Griffin does this with Donald Trump's fake severed head. If Jay Leno had done that, I can see outrage, people being appalled coast to coast. But she's nasty and mean. She tends to pull the worst thing, in my opinion, out of gay men. She goes for the weakest, most vulnerable part and excites that in people, and is brutal and nasty.
No, I totally get what you're saying.
This is consistent with her brand and not a shock.
I totally get what you're saying, but that has nothing to do with the issue.
It does.
The issue
it does very much.
No, I don't think so.
It does
I'll
very
tell you
much.
why. She's a comedian in the same way that Tracy Morgan said in his show that if he found out his kid was gay, he would kill him or stab him. It's in the same way that Michael Richards, who had never had a history of anything, was having a terrible set. And I don't agree with any of these people on any of this stuff. And the same, Bill Maher, who I just love, and I've met at parties, and is not the easiest guy to talk to, you know, and that slips and doesn't. And he said the N-word. I am total, you know me, liberal. I am on your side of the page when it comes to what I say on stage to me as a comedian and as an actor, and what I say publicly is who I am. So I would never do anything like that I didn't feel that was safe. That is not their comedy. That is not their brand. And I think they should have the right to do it, and they should not have the right to lose jobs over it. It's just not right.
We agree.
That's what I'm so upset about.
The freedom of speech part is critical here.
Yeah, and there's so many comedians that I don't like their material, and I think they're brilliant comedians. I mean, I love Jerry Seinfeld. Think he's great, but he never makes me laugh. But he's an incredibly gifted comedian, but it's not my style. It's too soft, it's too sweet. I like harder edge comedy. I love Joan Rivers, and I love Don Rickles, and I love that you say it's mean and it's brutal. I think it's having fun and making fun of people, and just, you know, having a moment in the audience that makes you feel like the show is just yours. She tells gossip. That's all she does. She's a gossip comedian.
Yeah.
You know, about the Kardashians or about Princess Diana or whoever she was talking about at the time. And I don't think it was mean or brutal. I mean, I think there's
to my
it's
point,
not the right word.
To my point, and to honor both points actually here, it's not shocking that she did this. People are acting shocked. Now, like I said, had Leno done it, it would have been shocking. But for her to do
You're right.
it's
I agree
a yawn.
With you. I agree.
So that's why it's contrived, and the reaction is contrived, because that alone is something so over the top, grander, as you say, than the actual act
just like
itself.
when Sinead O'Connor was on Saturday Night Live and she tore the Pope's picture, and then her whole career ended. It's just insanity. I mean, you know, Howard Dean, you know, getting really excited at one of his
I
rallies.
play that sound a lot.
I think to myself, my God. And then the things Trump has, I guess I keep going back to Trump, because what he has said, who he has talked about, the way he's talked about people, what is happening in this country in terms of diplomacy and kindness and class. When on the 20th, I put a picture of Michelle and Barack on my Facebook page and did it on all my social media, and says, class has left the White House. And I think I never really understood the word diplomacy until now. And to really understand it, how we are known in the world, and how things can be handled in a different way, and how the dots are collected. You and I know each other socially, and for years, if I would say something about you, or you would say something about me, it would go within our community if we did it in a public way. And we would have to pay the price of that. But I wouldn't want you to lose your job over hating me.
No, and
if you did.
The first... you wouldn't be here then. The First Amendment was brilliant because there were two levels to it when the founding daddies which happily 2 are my ancestors.
Really?
2 signers of the Declaration of Independence, Charles Carroll of Carrollton and Stephen Hopkins.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh my God! I'm just some Jew in the middle of Europe going, "Where are we going? Where's the chicken? Did anybody bring the chicken?"
and so they understood.
So there's some Jews right now that were very offended by it.
I'm sure there were. They understood that if you are allowed to yell "F you" to the king is, you're not going to end up having riots in the street. Unlike every other government before we came to this country, or before we developed this country, you could not say anything bad about the king. So what did you do? You went and burnt down the castle. You went and you fucked up the king. But if you can stand in the middle of the road and say, that king is a son of a bitch, or that Donald Trump, or that Richard Nixon, or whoever it is an a-hole, then you go home and watch Netflix. And you don't actually like the White House.
We have to listen to each other.
This was the pressure cooker concept that was unique to this country, so that we do have this First Amendment, so that it doesn't become actionable, and that's kind of the idea, so that the rich people don't have to worry about having their heads cut off because you're not allowed to complain about your circumstances. Part of our infrastructure, and it's brilliant, is we have just enough social services to take the edge off, but not enough to actually handle it. So it never gets so bad. You can step over 80,000 homeless people, but if it were 85,000, maybe you're going to do something about it. Just enough to take the edge off. And so that's why all of us have this First Amendment privilege, so we don't actually grab a gun and go use the damn thing.
It's the difference between seeing sex in movies and seeing a man's penis, or seeing a woman's bottom half in a movie and how they judge it, to the fact that you can be in a movie that 100 people are shot and killed, and there's no consequences to it whatsoever at all, and that's okay for kids to see. And that's the difference. I always say, if I'm going to see violence in a movie, I want to see consequences for it. I want to see the people are, like people said, how can you be in a movie like Birth of a Nation? How can you play a character that rapes a woman in it? And I said, because there's consequence to my character. It shows that that my character was a bad person, and that he changed the course of history. I'm part of 3 people in the movie that there's rape, murder, and torture, and the whole movie isn't like that, believe me. But it does show how
it's a great movie.
Yes,
it's an important movie.
Yes, it is, yes. And it shows how it changed our country, and how it was the first black man to fight against the white plantation owners, and what happened. And this man paid the price, certainly. And I think it's really important that consequences are shown, and that we listen to each other. Yeah. It's just like, I should have listened to you more when you were talking. I immediately reacted. I didn't. I thought, I'm going to be on this show. I got to get in there. But I really should have listened.
That's part of your comics training, too.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Oh, you're so sweet. Look at you.
Oh,
those beautiful blue eyes.
That's exactly the right thing to say. Let me reintroduce you then as a gift. We're talking right now to Jason Stuart, actor and comedian, recently seen in a major role in Birth of a Nation.
Streaming all over.
It's all over
now.
Yeah.
iTunes, Spectrum, Time Warner, HBO Go, and all that stuff. Yeah.
And a seminally important.
Yeah, it was
historically
really
important.
For an openly gay Jewish liberal guy to play a white heterosexual Christian plantation owner, an 1831 rapist. I don't like to say that because it ruins. It's like it ruins it.
Well, there is a community for whom that will be a reason to watch
it. Can't hear that.
Also, you did a guest shot on Judd Apatow's Netflix series Love. I'll bet that was fun.
Oh my God, working with that group, you learn the lines, you do the scene, and then they let you improv, and it's so much fun.
Right.
And his whole thing is about letting the actor or the comedian make the role their own. And I remember I emailed him. I said, I think I might be right for this part. What do you think? He said, oh, you're perfect. And he actually gave me 3 paragraphs of what to do on the audition so he could show it to everybody.
Yeah.
So basically, I was directed by Joe Apatow to get the part on Judd Apatow's show. Did I say Joe? Judd Apatow's show. I was directed by
Joe
him.
to his friends.
Yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
But I was directed by him to get the part, which was... What a gift.
Let's wrap it up here, because what's really interesting is, what is a comic's social responsibility with humor? Is it purely to entertain? Purely purely to entertain, or is there a little Bill Shakespeare in there, where there's some life lessons and perspective?
The difference between Bill Maher and Kathy Griffin. Kathy Griffin does gossip and politics. She does a lot of politics too, and Bill is total politics. And I think that he has the right in this country. That's what our country is about. Is that he's allowed to say what he wants to say. And both of them. Let's just remind everybody that both of them apologized immediately and realized they made a mistake, and that wasn't really who they were. And I think, and this is really something really important. There are racist people out there that are Ku Klux Klan members that have voted for people and tried to take people's rights. And then there are people that do racist things because they're ignorant or they don't think about what they're doing. I don't see that as ever happening with me. That's not who I am.
Yeah.
Sometimes people do it. They think they have the permission to do it. You know, I had a long conversation with some black friends about the N-word recently, and about how all these kids are saying it so much in all their music and in their art and in their poetry that other white kids that are young feel that they have the permission to say it. And because they love the music, they love the poetry, they love the art, and they want to be a part of it. And they don't see the negativity of that word. Like, I can't get past the word fag, ever. I cannot get past it. It was written on my locker when I was in junior high school, very lightly with a nail, and I looked at it for 3 years and never told anybody. And it changed who I was as a person, and I can't get past it. I don't like taking words and turning them around. I prefer to create new stuff. And the idea of things that are new and fresh and that are communicative. And there goes Facebook Live!
Well, at least it's getting a beautiful ceiling shot now.
Yes. Yes, right here. Oh, there's a Hollywood. It's a star.
Perfect.
Yes, exactly. But I do believe... I totally forgot what I was talking about.
Fag.
Yeah, I don't like that word. I just don't. It took me forever with queer because I spent 20 years doing colleges and speaking at colleges.
One almost feels worse to me in some ways.
Well, because until queer is spoken, then what were you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, that's so 1950s creepy.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
and it was so to us older guys, it was like, man, it made the hairs on the back of my neck just go up. I was called all those things so much as a child, and it just wasn't,
And then you went to school and heard it too.
Oh yeah, that's where it was. Good night, everybody. You know, it is really true though. It was seminally so a part of my upbringing that I think communication is so important, and I think how we use our words and what we say and how we say it is important. And people can make mistakes, and they both said, which was so lovely, they both apologized so quickly and realized that they hadn't. And I don't think they did it because they thought, oh, I'm going to lose work. I think they did it because they knew it was wrong.
And you know, for Bill Maher's situation with the N-word, he's assuming that people have institutional memory, that they understand how things worked back then. His remark was he was asked to go work in the fields, and he was saying, no, I'm one of the indoor slaves, which were known as the house N-word. But if you don't know that was the term for that, you just hear somebody say that, and
there is a confusion. Up. There is a deep confusion because of rap music and poetry, and especially for people. And I think a lot of people don't get it. I mean, I do a joke in my act. You know, I say I had to say the N-word all through Birth of a Nation, and I said I never said the N-word before, except maybe in my car with the windows up listening to Snoop Dogg. Well, I didn't actually say the ER. I said the AS. You know.
I want to give you an unsolicited compliment as we wrap this up.
Oh my God!
You and I went hiking 2-3 years ago, maybe.
Oh, we did it a lot.
Yes, we did it.
But then we did it with a specific group. Is that you talking about?
The Saturday morning.
Yes,
There's a gay hiking group here in Los Angeles. We have the largest city park in the world. It's our mountain range here.
Oh, is it
Griffith
really the biggest?
Park and all of it. Yeah, largest in the world. So we have many miles of hiking areas in LA. And if you're not in LA, you think it's all just kind of what it looks like. This just kind of a lot of paved stuff, but there's a lot of open space.
Oh, beautiful.
We were hiking, and at that point, you hadn't had a lot of these experiences yet with Birth of a Nation and other stuff.
It's around 5 years ago.
You have really beautifully and terrifically become aglow with a kind of excitement and activism and appetite to do all of these great things, and I love it.
Oh, thank you.
It's a beautiful thing to watch for any of us.
Well, thank you. God, that's so lovely to say. It's been an arduous road. It's been a terrific road, and it's been a hard road to be an out person way before Ellen and before Rosie, before George Michael, God bless him, before Neil Patrick Harris. In 1992, 93 is when I came out. I don't know what I was thinking sometimes. I think that, my ignorance to how things are going to be, I just sort of drive through it like a BMW going through Beverly Hills.
Bentley now.
No, I prefer BMW or maybe a little Mercedes, a chocolate brown, the kind Dinah Shore used to drive that I see here all around when I was a kid. Loved it.
It's a really good thing, this kind of conversation of why do you come out? And I think part of it, as we talk to Jason Stuart, actor and comedian Jason Stuart. You can find him at jasonstuart.com.
Stuart, in case you spend a lot of time.
Coming out in 1993 has got to be an act of power.
It was frightening.
Because it makes you different, but it makes you different in a way that the average person, how do they compete with a gay guy? I mean, seriously, you're a special item.
It was hard in the sense to enjoy it. The first bout of fame. So a little girl asked me the other day at a party. I was at a party for it was Aziz's show, Master of None, and she said, "Are you famous?" Because I was doing the red carpet, and some people were taking some pictures. There were like 6 people. There was nobody there, and she said, "Are you famous?" I said, "Well, kinda, but kinda maybe. That's what I am. I'm kinda semi." And she said, "Well, what does that mean?" I said, "Well, some people know me and will go nuts, and some people just don't know who the hell I am, and that's the way it is." I mean, my stand-up special 10 years ago was called Making It to the Middle.
I remember this.
And that's exactly what my career has been like. But now it's very, very different. It is. This has been a sort of, it's been a journey to get here. To go, and I went through a sort of dip around that time because my father had passed away, and that's a seminal thing for a young man. My father had been a big part of my life. He had been a Holocaust survivor, not the camps but the ghettos, and when you live with somebody it sort of is a part of who you are. It's like the Post-its that get stuck on you. Who you are as a person. When he passed, everyone in my family sort of shifted, and I was able to sort of really let go of everything and really just start to come into being whoever I am, and I feel better than I've ever felt, honestly.
The word in history is just called integrity. That's what it is. When a gay man comes out and becomes who he is hardwired to be, it's called integrity.
But it's a long road. It really is, because when you first come out, it was so much attention on that. And then I toured for I had 3 different really big tours that lasted years and sold out everywhere, and I couldn't feel it. Because I was so worried about either not being able to do the time or not being able to write new material constantly or not be able to sell selling the tickets was really the biggest thing, the most scary thing. And also dealing with all the white club owners, the heterosexual Christian, guys who run everything. Rarely was it ever anybody but that. There was a couple white women, but mostly straight guys. And you were still the circus act that would come in once a year. And you had to fight to get the same amount of money, and you were judged more harshly in terms of being able to come back. There were some great people like Al Canal, and they booked me all the time, and some really Lisa, I can't remember her last name, and Stephen D.C., who's a radio show in St. Louis, that was so supportive of me. I mean, the Howard Stern of that time, and they were, I didn't realize it because I was so, I wasn't able to, I couldn't breathe. I was afraid to, I couldn't let my breath in, and I didn't know how. Sometimes it really takes a long time, unfortunately. Nobody really took me by the hand, and maybe I wasn't open to it, but you always hope that somebody very aggressive will take you by the hand. Or in the play Orphans, when he says sometimes somebody just needs an extra squeeze on their shoulder, you just put your arm around and you squeeze their shoulder. And I don't think I had that.
And admittedly, there were no founding daddies. I mean, who was there? Quentin Crisp?
Well, it's not even daddies, even mommies, but whoever they were, I don't think that us as gay men, specifically gay men, not gay women or transgender people or bisexuals. I'm talking about specifically gay men of our age, between 40 and 60, I'd say, or that group of men. We're so protective of ourselves, and so being able. We're almost like, Vietnam vets. In a way, the post-traumatic stress of what we've gone through. There was an article written somewhere that a lot of friends of mine in my age group had sent around about gay men and what we've had to go through and the post-traumatic stress that we have, and how difficult it's been for us to find relationships, to have true relationships with each other, whether they be friendships or loves. It's really hard, other than light. And I've been able to do that with a lot of people over the years. And I feel good about that, because it's not an easy thing.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate this really wonderful turn here in this direction. I only hope for these kinds of conversations, so thanks for going there. It just happened organically, and it was great. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
I'm glad we talked about the First Amendment.
And best to Kathy Griffin, please. One mistake over a million years, of all the good things. Same with Bill Maher. One mistake, maybe two for him.
In your heart, you may have thought it was actually funny.
Yeah.
When my heart is filled with lots of secret giggles at certain things, too. We just can't necessarily admit it all the time. Except that I do. So thank you so much for coming on, Jason.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it, my friend. And we will do it again.
Yes, let's do it. Are we taking a break?
We're done.
Oh, my God, the show's done.
Say goodbye to the folks, Gracie.
Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, everyone.